Hello everyone, welcome back to Nails and Sunflowers, or welcome if you're new. Today's video is going to be a long one, so grab a snack, grab some tea or some coffee or a drink, whatever you fancy, and let's get onto it. I thought today I would let you in on the whole process of a manicure with me. For really long nails that want French. So this is my best friend. She usually goes for quite crazy nails, but lately she has been more classic. Not classic per se, but actually simpler, I would say. Simpler designs. Still long nails, almond nails. But yeah, so we're going to do red French nails today for her. And I thought this time it is sped up. I am showing you at 1:30 the first part of each section of the manicure, and then I speed up to 150 or 200 because otherwise, yes, we would be here for over 2 hours, which is how long the manicures with her actually take me. It's still 1 hour long. If you don't like this kind of video, I would straight away suggest you skip this one. But I have plenty of other shorter videos. But for this one, I am gonna keep the full thing. I started by removing what she was wearing, and to my surprise, she had a lot of lifting. I'm not entirely sure what happened. I think, I might be wrong, but I think we used too soft of a gel last time because of the color she wanted. I didn't put a jelly gel underneath, and now I regret that decision, but here we are. Also, I don't fully remove her natural nail from underneath, only the tip, or if it's a crooked nail, then I fix it. But I think that's not possible anymore at her length because it's too bulky on the free edge if I leave everything. So for this one, you are going to see at the end of filing that I take more than I usually would, because I want the nails to actually feel thin, not only on the tip, but like only have the apex where it should be, pretty much. Only have the thickness, of the product at the actual apex. I know she likes to keep her natural nails, and these are her natural nails still, but at this length, there is no nail that's actually perfect enough for you not to do a gel overlay. So the gel overlay does imply that we need to do some corrections, and this is one of them. Otherwise, you see what happens. It's just out of balance, and it's too thick at the tip, and it just unbalances it out, and she gets a lot of lifting on the cuticle area. You might be wondering why I didn't consider that it might be my prep. I didn't because I've done the same prep on her, well, obviously improving as I learn new things, but Russian manicure ever since we started, and she has never gotten lifting because of it. Literally, the prep has always worked wonders for her, so that's why I straightforward jumped into this as something to do with the gel. I also don't consider that it might be the rubber base that I used for the pre-base or the gel itself, because I have used both of them on her and they lasted marvelously well. So yeah, I think the only option is the bulkiness. And yeah, anyway, we are removing everything, and I'm letting you see how I would deal with this much lifting. I think she has lifting pretty much on all her nails. If not all, then most of them. Some of them were bothering her. Also, two of them lifted because she hit them on something. Like, she literally told me, these two, I know they lifted when I hit them, because she's clumsy like me. But all the other ones, yeah, I think the problem was the product. So I basically try to remove with the e-file as much as I can on the sides of the lifted area. I try to frame it, and then once I see that everything around the lifted area is filed properly, then I just try to lift up the actual lifted area, if that makes sense. because it's already separated from the nail plate, so I'm not ripping off, I'm not peeling off anything from her nail bed. This is very important because this is what weakens nails. This is what we don't want our clients to do and what we tell them off when they do it. So don't do it yourself. Just try to frame the lifted area properly with the file and then remove what's actually lifted. Also, I have left pretty much all the footage, about, I would say 80% of it. I have only removed the parts of the video that were me moving things, changing eval bits. I don't know, if we stopped to talk about something or she wanted to show me something on her phone. I also shortened the part where she's choosing colors, you'll see. And also, I think like 30 seconds ago, she asked me for a charger. So I also removed that part where it's just me handing her a charger for her phone. Like, you know, so all in all, you are seeing the whole thing. But the cuts that you might see in the video, it's parts of the video that will literally had nothing to do with the manicure, okay? It was just added things that don't really have anything to do with what we actually want to see. The rest of it, so again, I would say like 85% maybe of the footage that I had, it's there. I only rewatched it to see like if it was in frame or if it's focused or not, and to remove the bits that are unnecessary and to speed it up. But otherwise, it's all there. So yeah, I did have to rewatch over 2 hours worth of footage, and it took me a while to edit. So I hope you enjoyed this kind of video. Anyway, we are moving on to the middle finger. This one is the one that was bothering her the most because it was really unbalanced. Pretty much the full nail up until the free edge was lifted, as you can see, and it had been lifted for longer than the rest. I think she hid it somewhere. So it does have a bit of discoloration. I did think it might be a bacterial infection, as in Pseudomonas. That's how you say it in English. That's how I say it in Spanish. But no, it was just a bit of discoloration from the what's it called? The dry nail bed, let's say, that got lifted when she hit the nail. That had a bit of discoloration from the moisture that probably got under the nail in these like 10 days that it was lifted. I was a bit sad to remove this design because honestly I think it's one that's really close to my heart. I don't know why. I really liked it. It took me a long time to paint on that day, and because I really wanted it to be symmetrical on both hands. And I love the colors, I think. Yeah, I think that was it. Like the colors were really speaking to me. So I was really sad to take it off, but it's okay. We're moving on. At first, I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't that excited about doing a red French. I do a lot of French in general, French nails. And yes, okay, red one, it has like a bit of a twist. It's not the classic one, but for me, it's the same. It's just that the color that I'm painting the French with is not the usual white, it's a red. But the technique, everything is just the same for me. So I was really unexcited about it. But I have to say that the result was really like much better than I expected. Like I really, really, really like these nails on her. So moving on to Russian manicure now. With my orange wood stick, I am pushing back and lifting the cuticles of all the nails. I always start with the index because it's the least sensitive finger, as in the nail bed and the cuticle. And then I move my way up to the pinky and then the thumb. You might not know, but the thumb is one of the most sensitive ones. It's one of the fingers that we use the most, but it's also the most sensitive one on the cuticle, on the skin, and the actual nail bed. So I'm doing the same on both hands, obviously. And as I always say, take your time. This is really important. Don't skip this step. I see so many nail techs skip this and just go in with the flame bit or whatever bit you're using for the cuticle without pushing it back. Come on, like we can do better than this. It's 2025. Can we do better than this? I think we can. So always push it back properly without hurting the client, but yeah, don't skip it. And after that, we are moving on with some talc powder to remove all the moisture that we may have there. Her skin is not really wet or anything. She doesn't have sweaty nails or anything like that, but I still use it on both hands, as you can see. And I rub it on with my gloves. We move on with the flame bit work. This is my favorite Magic Bits red and blue abrasive mark. 15 RPMs and on forward going on the left side of the nail plate and on the left side walls. We want to clean this area really well so the product will adhere properly, and so we can polish with the color under the cuticle. In this occasion, we're not going to do that because we're going to leave the gel color. Obviously, we're doing French, but I still do it because obviously I want the product to last the best that it can. So if I'm not mistaken, this whole hand is at 130% of speed, and the next one I am going to do 150 and then go up to 200 after that, only because I feel like letting you see the whole process at an almost normal speed is enough once. You don't have to see it all unless you ask me to, and I'll be happy to upload the 2-hour 30-minute long footage that I had. I have said this in the last few videos as well because it's a new technique for me. I am opening up the pores of the nail bed with the flame bit now as I'm doing the Russian manicure. Unless, like in this case, there's a lot of lifting where I am gonna go with the 180 grit file, hand file afterwards, just on some specific areas. But I am not going over the whole nail anymore with the file after removal. I feel like this is much softer and let's say less damaging to the nail plate. Not that what I was doing before was damaging, but I had more risk of damaging the nail bed that way, if that makes sense. And if you are using the wrong technique, you are gonna hurt the client. So to avoid it altogether, Yeah, I learned this in a course I did recently in February, and yeah, I'm just doing this now. Opening up the pores with the flame bit, first on the left side as I'm going on forward, and then you saw I switched to reverse, and I did the same on the other side of the nail bed and went also on the right side also. And yes, she is stroking my hand. Every time I grab her thumb, she does this, and she knew I was filming, so yeah, there you go. So now for the scissor work, we are cutting off any dead skin that we lifted up with the flame bit. And as always, I am using my Stalex 20/1. They have more straight tip than other scissors that I've tried. I have a 23/1. I haven't done a video with it yet, sorry. But the technique is slightly different, and I think I like this one better. So you might see that she's moving more than before on this finger. This is the movement that she was barely moving, but if you've ever been to a nail salon, you know, they always tell you, you know, stay still. That's because even if you just touch your hair with your other hand, it's gonna make your whole body move. And when you're doing such precise work, you can really tell. So she was moving because she was laughing. We were laughing. I was laughing as well because she accidentally hit her teeth with the mug of her tea. and when she was gonna sip it, and she was like, ouch. But I didn't realize, and I thought she was complaining about me cutting, like I cut a bit too much than I should have. And because, she's my best friend, and I was like, oh, come on. And I just said, like, shush, like, it didn't hurt, something like that, And she was like, no, I wasn't complaining. I hit my teeth with my cup. Oh, okay, sorry. So it was this moment where, like, oops, when you trust someone so much, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Like, yeah, you can chat away and you can do all sorts of things that you don't do with other clients, but you're also like, shush, I didn't hurt you. And as you may have seen, we have moved on to polishing the cut with the flame bit going on forward at 6,000 RPMs all over the cuticle and under as well, because you need to polish the cut from all angles pretty much. And now we are polishing the cut as well, but with our silicone bit at 7 RPMs, also on forward, and only going over the cuticle. We don't want to touch the nail plate with this bit because it's going to smooth it out, and that's what we don't want, because otherwise the product won't adhere properly. And once we're done with that, we spray some water, and with the baby wipe I'm taking off all the dust and everything, just so it's more comfortable for both of us. And now we are choosing the base color. She wanted something more white and neutral because of her skin tone. She didn't want any pink in it, and same for the red. She didn't want it to look any pink like, so we went for Madame Glam, the strip. And now I'm removing the dust from the other hand, and then I go with a lint-free wipe and some cleanser from Nails of the Day. I rub all the nails to dehydrate them, and then I grab another lint-free wipe with the same cleanser and go under the cuticles as well with the orange wood stick. Wow, that took a while. I am gonna dehydrate the nails because I felt like we needed it. I don't know. And then I went on with some acid-free primer, Ultra Bond. This is all from DNKA on the lifted areas, let's say. And now I'm using the rubber base as well, and I'm gonna rub it in with my Stalex number 4 gel brush. It's really tiny and it allows me to get under the cuticle and to not grab too much product. As you can see, her middle finger here grew really crooked. I think her nail is starting to twist, and I'm not entirely sure why. This wasn't the case before. So we are gonna fix that with the gel, and same for her pinkies. But her pinkies have always grown to the side, and we always try to fix them. I always have a struggle with them. But the middle finger on the right hand was a new one for me. I think you can see it from this angle as well. Her pinky is already an extension on her left hand. So moving on, we are doing the thumbs. I do them separately because otherwise they don't cure all the way. My lamps don't have a metallic base, so the light doesn't reflect on it. I am on the hunt to buy 2 new lamps, also because mine are a year old now, and I find that that's when they start failing a little bit, not curing the product all the way through, etc, etc. So before that happens and one of them dies, I want to buy 2 new ones, and I am determined to buy them rechargeable, as in so they don't always need a cable. I already have my pedicure one like that and I love it. So yeah, I want 2 of them like that for the manicure table, but I need them to be a bit smaller than the pedicure one that I have. And I want them to have a metallic base because the light reflects a lot better and it cures the product better. So moving on to gel, this is the gel she chose. It's from the DNKA, sorry. I think it's called Icon or Satin, one of the 2, I don't remember. It's the most neutral one of the 2 that I have. So we are doing the normal technique. There's only a few nails I'm gonna have to fix, which are both her pinkies, her middle finger on her right hand. As you saw, it's really crooked. And I think the ring finger needed like a slight correction, but it was really light. I didn't even have to go in with product before doing the overlay itself. You're gonna see what I mean. So for her pinky right now, I did put the product on the missing part of the nail, as you saw before, and now I'm doing the overlay. So that's what I do when I need to correct them when they're crooked or growing downwards or whatever needs to be corrected, and then I do the overlay on top. So after all the gel is applied and all the nails are corrected, I go on to filing. This is a hand file, 180 grit file, disposable file from Stalex, and we are starting off with the ring finger because it's usually the one with the longer nail bed, and we want the ring finger and the index finger to be the same length. So if we start with the index finger, let's say, we take the risk of making it too short, too small, and when we go pair it with the ring finger, it's going to look funny. So I usually start with the ring finger, make sure that the shape is right from above, check the side walls, don't overfile them, and just make sure that the side walls are not bulky. That's what makes the nails look thick from above, pretty much. From the side, you do want to check it out, but I pretty much checked it while I was applying the gel. So then I pair it with the index finger and I do the same. And then I'm gonna move on to the middle finger. I want that to be 1 to 2 millimeters longer than index and ring finger. The pinky, I kind of eyeball, because if I pair it exactly 1 to 2 millimeters shorter than the ring finger, it's usually too long for my clients. They're like, can the pinky be a little bit shorter? Because it's true that it's usually a really small nail bed, and if you only look at the math and make it exactly 1 to 2 millimeters shorter, it's going to have a lot of free edge, and that's usually uncomfortable for them. I know it is for me a lot when I'm wearing long nails, so I start doing that. Then I kind of check with them if they want it like that, and if not, then I make it just a tiny bit shorter, like 1 to 2 millimeters more. And then the thumb, you're going to see that I take off some of the length because I know I have to take off some of the length. It was really long. Her thumbs grow faster than the rest of her nails. But then I want to pair it with the index finger on the other hand. It's the easiest way to make sure that it is 2 to 3 millimeters longer than the rest of the nails. So what I do is just take off eyeball, whatever length I think I have to take off, always making sure that I leave enough room if it needs to be shorter, because I don't want to have to extend it afterwards, obviously. Then I move on to the other hand. I pair the index fingers together. I make sure that the other hand has the right length. And then I compare the other hand's index finger with the thumb on the other hand. I hope I'm making sense. You're gonna see now. I am taking off the inhibition layer from the other hand. And as you can see, I go index with index. I was having a hard time that day to match them. I don't know. I kept feeling like one of them was off. And I kept looking at them. I don't know. I had a hard time. And then when that's okay, I take the thumb and the index and make sure that the thumb is right. And then I take my green abrasive mark carbide, tiny carbide bit at 19,000 rotations per minute. And I go under the nails. And as I said at the beginning of the video, I am going to take off quite a bit of the natural nail, especially on those nails that I had to correct, obviously. But in general, on all of them, I want the structure of the nail to be completely right, so I can make sure that was not the cause of the lifting for next time. Because if next time she comes back with lifting, it's probably going to be on the prep, as in I need to go in with the 180 hand file, because the flame bit, opening the pores with just the flame bit for her nail beds is not working. Or maybe it's something else, but yeah, I can just cross out that it's not about the apex and the structure. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now, and it's taking a while. And then I am gonna move on to the other hand and repeat the same process. very important when it comes to filing, especially the shape, that you make your client understand, educate them on almond nails. It's such a controversy. And a lot of clients ask for them when they don't have long enough of a free edge to do so. What I mean is, you don't want to overfile the sidewalls or the growth points at all. When you try to do an almond nail on a too short of a nail, you are going to overfile them no matter what. And the sidewalls from the side view are going to look so funny, even if the nail looks okay from above. So always move the finger around. Make sure that you do not overfile those sidewalls and those growth points at all. And just try to educate your clients on why they should not want that kind of shape if it's not possible. I know we all want the long nail beds and the beautiful nails, but we have to work with what we have. I myself cannot do an almond on myself unless I have a very long free edge, because my nail beds, they're not the longest ones, but they are quite big for my short, small hands anyway. But yeah, I have to wait until my nails are long enough or do extensions long enough for me to do almond shape. With my friend here, I've had quite a bit of chats because she always says, yeah, I want them pointy. And I've always feel like, yes, but there's a limit, if you know what I mean. At some point, some nails, for example, the ring finger, because as I said, it has a longer nail bed, you have less of a free edge and the growth points are further down. So obviously you cannot make it as pointy as an index finger, let's say at the same length, because the index finger is going to have a lot more free edge. And that's the whole point of doing almond nails. You want to have pretty much almost the same length of free edge as nail bed, which is long for some people. So yeah, I'm struggling with this. If you are, as a nail tech, you're struggling with it as well, then I feel you. And if you're a client and you're one of those who always asks for the almond nails and you always feel like they're more round than almond, just know that if your nail tech is good and she knows what she's doing, she's not doing it to piss you off. She's doing it to protect your natural nail. Because if we overfile those growth points and those sidewalls every time just to give you the almond shape that you want, first of all, it's not going to look good. From the side view, your nails are going to look a disaster, I can assure you. And second of all, your nails are going to break. It's just a fact. They're not going to have the right structure because the sidewalls are going to be overfiled. So yeah, almond nails, huh? Anyone else struggling with this? Trying to educate your clients? So after all the filing is done, I spray some water again, baby wipe, and then with a lint-free wipe and alcohol this time, because it's not natural nail anymore, I am just taking off the dust and, let's say, making sure that the whole nail is clean. So because we are doing French and I don't want the gel polish to linger on those, what's the name? The little lines that the file did while I was filing her nails. I don't want the gel polish to linger there, to show, like, not be a sharp line. So what I'm doing is putting on some rubber base really, 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 really thin as I can, just to fill in those ridges. That's the word, isn't it? Just to fill them in, so the nail looks completely smooth again. You can also do this with a buffer, but I feel like I might add some sort of shine to it, and the product might not stick well to it. I'm saying it with a small mouth because I'm not sure of what I'm talking about. I've never worked like that. And the last course that I went to, she actually did it like this, and I felt it was quick, simple, and efficient, you know? So that's what I'm doing. Anyway, after rubber base is thinly applied in all the nails, we move on to the actual French. As I said, we chose Madame Glam the strip, which is this burgundy red. It's beautiful. And I'm just grabbing, this is a DNKA, I think, liner brush number 11 or 12 maybe. And first of all, I'm just lining up the center and the two sides. I asked her how far in she wanted the French to go, and she showed me the picture, and it was quite deep, so I went in. And then I just moved down, as you can see, bring those edges to not the center, but the two lines on the sides, on each side of the center that I marked before, and then I just join them in, however thin or thick the client wants. I always start really thin. I show them. Usually a lot of clients want them thin, especially if they have shorter nail beds. It's not the case here. You can always add, but if you make it too thick and you have to wipe it off because she wants it thinner, you're gonna have problems. You're gonna waste a lot of time. Whoops, made a mistake there. I'm taking my orange wood stick and just trying to wipe that off as best as I can without messing up the rest. So yeah, I think I did it quite thin to begin with. I kind of knew it would be too thin, but as I said, I would rather add slowly than just make it too thick from the get-go. So you can see I flipped the nail to look at it from the other side, the other view, just to make sure that it's straight with the center of the nail from all angles, pretty much. She wanted it a bit thicker, obviously, and we went in. I think twice I had to go in until we got the French that she wanted. I don't mind. I would rather do this than have to wipe it off. So once she was happy, which was a second time I had to go in, we cured it, and then I used that nail as a guide for the rest of them. Even if the center was not quite thick, but thicker than I would have gone for, the sides, she still wanted to keep them thin, which is a challenge. If you're doing French, you know what I'm talking about. Because you always want to add from the side. You know, when you want to add thickness to the center, you grab from the sides and do the smile. So when you only want to add thickness to the center, but not necessarily to the side walls, it's tricky. So I took my time. I was like, it's fine. I would rather just take my time and make this perfect than the French looking wonky. So as you see, I used the other as a model to make sure that the thickness is the same. Also, try and remember, or for me at least, that I file the nails at the end of the service after the top coat, and you inevitably take some of the color from the French off. So always add just 1 more millimeter than the client wants, to make sure that when you file the nail in the end, it's gonna look how she wants. Also making sure that I don't make this layer thick, which is also why I recommended really pigmented color. She did have another one in mind that was similar, but I redirected her to this one because the other one was not as pigmented, and I knew it would have either looked a bit off, pretty much, or I would have had to apply 2 coats, and that's something I really do not want to do with French because the tip is going to look so thick. Even if you level with the top coat, it's going to look wonky. So always make sure that you have really pigmented colors so the line looks sharp. Now she asked me if I could draw like this, the double French with white, the line that is, because she wasn't sure if she wanted that pretty much. Next time I think she's gonna go for a triple French. Kill me now. But this time she wasn't sure if she wanted the line or not. So I draw it on an index finger that's kind of, I don't know, a big nail, so she can compare and choose rather than a pinky, for example. She finally chose not to, again, because next time she is gonna get a triple French, probably in blue. My god, that's gonna take me hours, but it's fine. So now we just went through the, classic French. Also, when I flip the nails, I'm not sure I show you in the video, because when I turn her hand to the other side view, it was out of camera. So I think I removed that footage. But when I do that, I also want to make sure that with the light hitting from behind of the free edge, you don't see any patchy spots with the color. And as I said, also making sure that it's centered where I want it to be. And then the smile line is symmetrical. I think this footage really shows how, even though it's sped up, obviously, to double the speed of the actual video, you can really see how long, actually, it takes to do a French manicure, proper French manicure, and how do I say this? How, like, detailed work it is. Because a lot of people, at least here in Spain, when you say you charge more for French nails, they're like, what? Why? They really don't get it. And I think footage like this really goes to show why. Doing French is, well, at least here, I had to do completely different courses and trainings to do French nails. It was like I would do a training for Russian manicure, and I would do another one for gel, and another one for whatever it is, all the courses that I've ever done, which are a lot. But I had to do specific ones for French nails. And when I say this, people really don't believe it. Like they can't fathom it. They're like, what? Why? I don't think they actually realize, not everybody, but a lot of people, they don't realize how detailed and personal it is, like personal to the specific client, because every client has different nails, different shapes, and to every nail, even with one client, all her 10 fingers are different to do the French on. And yeah, I was looking at this footage right now, it was what I was thinking, like, wow, you can really see it. I don't think it's something that I could actually show to someone how detailed it is, but I think this video really does show. Oh, also, as you can see, I had to file a little bit on one nail because on the side the color had spilled into the sidewall. So I grabbed my tiny carbide bit, removed it, and I repainted the red wherever I took it off. This is also something that I get a lot of questions on, which is doing top coat nail by nail. I know I could do this 4 at the same time, curing wise, as in the lamp. As you could see, the base I do 4 fingers at a time. But with the top coat, even if it's just a solid color, I always level with the top coat. So the nail looks perfect when the light hits it. And if I do that, if I do the 4 fingers at the same time, one is always gonna spill to the side walls. I don't know. Because of how their hand rests on my hand, some product goes through the tip, so it's always a mess. At the very best, I do 2 nails at a time with top coat. If the nails are short, or if it's just like, again, solid color, nothing to actually level, like no stickers or designs that are like having a little bit of a 3D effect, I do 2 nails at a time. But in general, I go nail by nail, and it does take a little bit longer, the same as solid color. I only do 4 fingers at a time with the first coat. If I'm applying 2 coats, I do the first one 4 fingers at a time, and then the second one I go nail by nail, because I push back the cuticle before I apply the color, then I apply the color, and then I go under the cuticle with a liner like the one I'm using right now to do the French. So the manicure actually lasts longer, as in the client won't see the growth as much at the cuticle, and you can really tell this difference. I've seen it on myself for years now, because on my left hand, because I work with my dominant hand, I do under the cuticle color, but on my right hand, because I'm using my non-dominant hand to work on it, I don't do it. I only polish as close to the cuticle as I can, but I don't go in with a liner. Within a week, my right hand is always gonna look like, you're gonna see that it's grown a little bit. Even if it's just 1 millimeter, you can see a tiny bit of the nail bed already. And on my left hand, I can go up to 10 days with no growth visible at all. And this is something that a lot of clients have noticed too, because where I was working before, I didn't have time to do this. I would do as best as I could going up to the cuticle, but never under, because I never had the time to do so. And when they came here, the ones that actually came to my studio when I left, they did not notice a difference immediately. Like, they would, the first time they came, the second, they're like, what did you do? This looks so much better than when I was going there. Anyway, I'm rambling now. So we're done with top coat, with all the nails, and now we're finished filing, just making sure that everything's smooth and sharp. And I do check if I have to go under the nails, but it doesn't look like it. So I just do the same on both hands with the hand file. And this is the finished result. I love it. I really do love it. They look so cool and so chic. I hope you like them too. Anyway, I will see you on the next one. Bye!